have to become yourself.
Welcome to Creating a Buzz About Health podcast with Paula Carnell.
So hello, welcome to this latest episode of Creating a Buzz About Health with me, Paula Carnell. And I am really excited because today I am joined by a new friend called Laurel Hoover, all the way from the United States, who is a natural skin expert. And we've had a couple of conversations and I just knew there were things that she needed to share with my listeners. So Laurel, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here. And I love our new connection.
Oh, me too. So first of all, if you wouldn't mind just giving a bit of information about what you actually do. How are you a natural skin expert?
Well, my journey started 17 to 18 years ago. So fast forward to now what I do, it was a slow learning that unfolded for me through spiritual epiphanies. And what I do now is I have consolidated all the years of experience and research into a 90-day program that teaches a person how to literally regenerate their skin in 90 days. And it includes 4 areas of focus. So one is leaning on the intelligence of plants. So I create an exact formula for the person. No 2 formulas are alike with botanical oils. And I work with about 300 plant intelligences. And both the particle and wave form do 2 different things for the skin. I can get into that later. So the botanical blend, and then face yoga, facial exercises, because you can't have tight skin without tight muscles. And you've got over 40 muscles in your face. And then I do teach them mechanotransducive face massage, which is a fancy word for a collagen stimulating face massage technique that you can sculpt your face and you can sculpt and tease in where you want collagen to fill in, where it's been lacking. And then the final piece is really magical, but also really rooted in science. And that is a meditation masterclass that's self-guided that I recorded. And it uses a technique that I developed over the years. I am certified in hypnotherapy, and I've also facilitated quantum spontaneous healings, been on the receiving end of them as well. But this masterclass in meditation leads a person from being a novice all the way through how to guide energy, their biological energy, through their body and their meridians to heal organs, specifically in this case, the organ of the skin. And it works in the same way as an acupuncture facelift, but with this, you do it with your mind.
Wow. There are so many nuggets there, and particularly ones that connect with the bees and, with acupuncture and skin being an organ. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that skin is an organ. Would you like to share a bit more about that, just how the skin works?
Oh my goodness, the skin. The skin has a lot in common with bees. The skin is an extraordinarily collaborative organ, and it shares for the benefit of the whole of the body, which, I mean, all organs do, but the skin, that's its job. It's a barrier, both energetically and physically. It's waterproof. Like, here's all the basics of it as far as its physicality. It has its own immune system. If anything lands on your skin, it tells your brain, subconscious, what it is and that it killed it and that it's taken care of. Your skin can kill anything, and it doesn't get in. Now, if you've got a cut or a wound, it can, get in there. So it's your first line of defense. And then when you apply medicines to it, natural medicines, it will absorb 40% of it ish, and then it will share the rest with the rest of the body. And it knows what it is when it touches it. And then it will communicate with the brain. And then when it hits the blood, the brain sends it where it needs to go to heal other things. So that's a beautiful collaboration. And also when you have trauma, the skin, the fascia is part of your skin system. It lays in between the skin and the muscle. And the fascia aids you. And this is something that took me a while to figure out because I'm not classically trained with fascia or fascia release. It's something that I just stumbled through and learned. But the fascia, when you don't metabolize a trauma or even a tough conversation, and you have a resonation that's just kind of not quite in harmony, and you don't metabolize it fully, your body stores it for you. And your body stores your traumas in many places, right? Chinese medicine says that anger is stored in the liver on your behalf and your gallbladder. And, there's a whole Chinese system of that. Well, the fascia will take the energy and it will compress it into matter, right? All matter is energy, and all matter follows energy, and energy follows geometry. So when you have this motion of geometry, this electromagnetic feeling that you don't process, it will be sent to the fascia and materialized. And when you get a whole bunch of nodes of materialized trauma, the fascia becomes rigid. And when it becomes rigid, it doesn't slide properly and the fat falls and you get eye bags, you get sagging jowls. And then the collagen begins to deplete in those places. And then your facial expressions, you're still housing that energy. So the geometry of the movement of housing that energy, you're going to be more, your expressions are going to tend to be more like this while that energy is still part of your overall average frequency, your ARF, average resonant frequency. So the beautiful thing about skin is it's resilient and it will always remember its original blueprint. And you can always restore it. And we know through epigenetics that DNA is malleable. So it doesn't matter how much trauma you have, right? I'm turning 52 and I'm not feather lining yet, but I had terrible skin at 34. And if you massage the trauma out of your face and you use the botanical oils, the wave form of the oil we experience as emotion, right? Because we're quantum beings, we're particle and wave. The chemical gets in there and physically regenerates, but the wave form works with our hypothalamus and pituitary glands. And what you find is the chemical in the oil that was selected for your skin, that is the same wave medicine that you need to heal the emotion, because it's on an energetic spectrum, right? From chemical to wave. Mm-hmm. And so are we. So we are materialized energy. So when you work with plant intelligence, it works on the root cause on your behalf, and you never even have to revisit it or talk about it or even know. You just have a release. You'll cry or you'll feel a pop of gratitude. And as you massage your face and you break up the trauma and you allow that process to happen, the chemical is rebuilding it for you, but the waveform is resetting your brain chemistry and the way that your neurons are firing and the way you'll see you're less triggered over time on certain things. And your face will change because your expression changes because your energetic state is different. So really the spiritual gateway through skincare, you call it vanity, you call it whatever you want. It is an elegant way to heal traumas for yourself, is to work on your skincare.
Oh, this is amazing. And I think with our faces and with trauma, we're walking around showing them, aren't we? We're going around, and so to be able to heal those traumas where they are probably most visible is so transformative. Because one thing we did learn in Romania on the apitherapy course was we started to look at faces, and how if you, in a very simplistic form, if you have a sort of an angry face, the world will react to that angry face. Mm-hmm. So you will be receiving people in a different state as opposed to if you had a friendly, open face. And there was one chap on the course who actually had a really angry face, and all of us women were really quite scared of him. We would, we just stayed clear of him. And he had this reading where it was shared that he had this angry face. Did he know he had such an angry face? And he didn't. And when he saw his face and he suddenly realized, and it was apparently a karmic karmic face. And it was incredible how he released it just from that, knowing it, being shown it and knowing it. And the next day he just looked different and he behaved differently, and we all behave differently to him. So the work you're doing is so powerful. Gosh, it's amazing. And I love how scientific it is. So can you share, I think you have got quite a bit of a scientific background, how do you merge that science with the spirituality and with the healing aspects?
Am I going to share this story?
I guess you have to now. Yeah.
I guess I will share. So my background as a child, I was raised evangelical. And if you know what that is, you understand that it's kind of tough to break out of the framework because you're not supposed to question. Well, I did, and I became an atheist for 10 years because when you're raised in that way, there's either you believe this or you believe nothing. And you're so indoctrinated that you are like, okay, these are the choices I have. So you're still in the framework even when you break out. And after 10 years of just trying to live the best life that I could just to leave the planet a better place, because what's more motivating than, oh my gosh, one shot and then there's nothing. So I better make everything as beautiful as possible, right? You just become, your humanism is amplified as an atheist. You just want everything to be as beautiful as you possibly can. And I had a visitation from an energy being. And it jarred me into realizing that reality was nothing like I thought. And the very same week, I finished reading Bruce Lipton's The Biology of Belief on epigenetics. So I learned that DNA was malleable and that there was an energy and a consciousness that didn't actually live in the body. So the scientific information came in, a jarring spiritual experience came in. And the same week, my neighbor's 80-year-old mother was visiting from China. And she had better skin than the average 30-year-old American. And she taught me that she would rub whatever produce she was eating, she would just rub it on her face. And she taught me what each produce did and how to regenerate through the nutrients. And then a light bulb went on. And I thought, well, if it's plants and we need these nutrients from plants, it's way too sticky. I don't want to just hang out with plant goo on my face all the time as my skincare regimen because I had a busy life. I was still in corporate. So then I started researching botanical oils. And because I had had that spiritual experience, I believed that absolutely anything was possible. And I started studying quantum physics to really understand what is this particle wave thing, reality. And over the years, it just, the research and working with clients expanded into understanding. And then also with the certification in hypnosis and really diving into spontaneous healing and the frequencies there is really, I always wanted to understand how physically is this happening? How is this possible that these spontaneous healings are happening? How is it possible that you work with plant oils and all of a sudden PTSD is a non-issue? How is that possible? And so studying the mechanisms within the body was highly important to me because I always feel that if I cannot explain the mechanical nature of it to someone who is new to it, that if I don't know it well enough to explain it, then I don't know it well enough to teach it. Mm-hmm. And also I just thirst for knowing. So that's a long answer to your question of that's really my motivation for understanding the science and the origins of it, because when you come from a background where you're not allowed to question and you have a super inquisitive nature like I do, and then all of a sudden you realize that reality is infinity large, I think the hardest part is staying on the path of study that's the most efficient for where I want to go and not going down a bunch of rabbit holes. So I've been able to study for a long time now to understand how we're interacting with all of these energies and how to entrain with the energies.
Wow. I'd love to go back a bit to the Bruce Lipton. I came across him when I was ill, and it really transformed my hope for recovery when I realized that it's the environment around the cell. So it was really groundbreaking for me. But if you were leading your sort of normal life and this was before your spiritual revelation, what led you to be reading Bruce Lipton?
The same neighbor that I was talking about, her doctor, who had done a skin resurfacing of her sun damage, gave her the book. And she thought it was too sciencey, and she knew that I liked science. So she just gave it to me. And because I love to read, I read it and was hooked.
Gosh. Wow. And so people listening might be wondering about sun damage, because we're getting conflicting information that, it can be damaging, and then other people saying, no, it's really beneficial for you and you need the sun for things. So, and obviously our face gets exposed. So what has evolved from your studies and learning about sun damage? Is that one of the traumas, or is it part of the healing?
The malillumination, you can be malilluminated the same as you have malnutrition. So sunlight is medicine. And there are all the different frequencies from UV to infrared. Infrared heals bones. It heals deep, deep, deep things within our bodies that need it. And there is that frequency that it delivers that creates instant cell division, cell repair, and cell migration, so that a cell can change into something completely a different type of cell and move instantly to where it's needed. And the infrared light creates that space for that to happen by ions passing over the cell membrane, opening up channels so that it can instantly mutate into something else that you need to heal you. So it's the science of the infrared and the spontaneous healing with the sun. Now, why does it cause damage? Because we live inside under fluorescent lights, we are malilluminated. And when you don't build up a tolerance to something, you get harmed by it if you get overexposed to it. So there are different light frequencies in the morning that will trigger your body to produce what it needs to protect itself from the sun later in the day. And if you miss out on those light bands and you just walk out into the sun, your skin's not ready and it'll burn. So we also know now through a lot of study through light medicine that what we have in our body, they're called chromophores, and they are in our hemoglobin, and they are identical to chlorophyll in plants for photosynthesis, except that in the center of our molecule is iron. And it's in the blood. So what happens is when you receive light through the eye and the nutrient dense backing, it takes the information, the light has information. It takes the photons, the frequency of the photon is imprinted in the chromophore, and it takes the information through your body and it runs some of your systems, like your circadian rhythm, your immune system. It's incredible. The light information is incredible. So it's running, you are working in tandem with light medicine at all times. And when you don't, you're out of sync, you're out of harmony with the time of day it is where you live, then you are not, your skin doesn't have the information to behave in the way that it needs to be in harmony with it. So when you step outside, you get burned. So it is, that's the classic example of medicine as poison or poison as medicine. It's just, are you in harmony with that elemental frequency medicine or not?
Oh, that's such a wonderful explanation. I really love that. And it was interesting us spending a year on a tropical island, right just below the equator, and how my husband has got sort of slightly ginger hair. So he was very pale skin with freckles and would burn a lot. But through our year living there, he did start off using sun cream, and then he did build up a tolerance, and now we're back in England and we're having this amazing heat wave, and he's been building up a really lovely healthy tan without burning, which he'd never been able to do in his life. So I think it can be done. And I've been one of those people that's always been so pale and could never get a tan. It would take me months and months. So I was always just too pale. And yeah, once I would get a tan, it would stay. So I've never worn sun cream because I've never, I've been desperate to get a bit of colour. So yeah, this is amazing. And when you talk about all the different aspects, again, it's not one thing. It's not you just take this oil, everyone takes this oil, and then your skin will be amazing. And combining it with exercises, with face yoga. So again, you have this, not quite a friction, but there's, as a woman, it's like, oh, don't smile too much because you'll get laughter lines, or don't squint your eyes, or, you're going to get these wrinkles. But then at the same time, face yoga is tightening the skin. So would you like to share a bit more about that? How are you more conscious of expressions, or how would you say the face yoga has really made an impact?
Well, when you go to the gym and you stay with it, or if you go to yoga and you stay with it, or if you're a jogger and you stay with it, you will hit a point where you feel powerful. You feel powerful, and you have that moment of, and it takes a few months to get there, but you experience being a stronger version of yourself, and you can appreciate it in that moment because you can see it and it's measurable in your knowingness. Well, we're taught not to touch our face in certain ways. And, to an extent, it's true. If you just make one motion constantly, it's problematic. But if you treat it and just get in there and get to know it and develop a relationship with it, it gets strong. And so my face feels as strong as my legs or my abs or my anything. And when your face feels strong, there is this peace that is hard to explain until you experience it. Mm-hmm. So it isn't that I'm cognizant of my expression. It's that I feel it in a way that feels like a hug. Because when you get tight and firm and you move your face, it just feels like a hug. It's the same way if you flex your arm and you actually have a muscle and you feel the pressure and the tension in there. It just feels good, like you can accomplish things. Well, most people go through their lives and never experience that with their face and neck. Mm-hmm. And it is a other category of feeling. And it's hard to explain it to a person that hasn't experienced it. So the freedom that comes with my clients when they discover that they can get to know their face and they don't have to be afraid of touching it, to have an area of your face that holds so much trauma and that it's taboo almost to rub and touch and really know, that is a whole aspect of our being that we don't have a relationship with. And when you're out of right relationship, it affects your overall relationship with yourself. And when you realize that you can fully trust yourself, that's the learning. That's the learning from face yoga, face massage, and really learning how to be able to be rough and tumble like a tomboy with your face. And that the reward is you look 10 to 15 years younger. The trust that builds it's hard to compare it to anything. It really is hard to compare it because it's the one thing that we feel that we're judged on. It's how we show up in the world. It's what we look at when we look in the mirror. It's what we believe is us. and to find complete trust in it. And then the reflection back at you changes and you look younger and happier. And it's really a beautiful expression of self-love to massage and work out the face. And the outcome is self-trust.
Wow. Now, you shared earlier that you had a skin condition when you were younger. So where did you start on your own skin? Did you start with the yoga? Did you start with the botanicals? Or did you start with understanding the traumas?
Botanicals. And the condition was just lack of awareness and sun damage and stress, a lot of stress from corporate living.
Okay. Yeah.
Wrinkles. I mean, I would smile and I had wrinkles from my eyes to my ears because I would go to the beach and I would go to the tanning bed. I just was completely unaware of what I was doing to my body, to the organ of my skin. I did not understand. And then I was using creams that, have preservatives and garbage that you just do not need to be putting on your skin because it gets into your bloodstream when it's fat soluble. And that's one thing that I would like to add in here. The reason why botanical oils are non-negotiable for healthy skin, when you go and you buy something from a store, it is most likely water soluble. And so it's going to hydrate the top 2 layers of skin, but your skin is waterproof. So it's not going to get down to where your skin actually regenerates itself, which is that 3rd layer. So there's no nutrients getting to where it needs to go. And when you use botanical oils, you actually will experience for the first time what it feels like to feed your skin, because the fat solubility of all the nutrients passes through your nerves and your face tingles. And you learn your face will crave things, and you'll start to learn to listen to what it's craving, and you'll end up with an apothecary of oils, and your skin, you'll literally have a knowing for what you need, and you'll just start mixing it in your hand and feeding your skin.
Oh, that's wonderful. So do you grow the herbs that you mix into your oils? And what kind of oils do you use? Or share, or are they distilled oils from certain herbs?
So the answer to that is I do wild forage and I do make balms, but the oils that I use, I source from all over. I want to work with more plants than a lot of plants wouldn't even grow here that are so transformative. And I like for plants to be harvested where they grow indigenously and at the peak of potency. And so there's just a few companies out there that do that. So I don't source from one specific company. So for frankincense or for copaiba, helichrysum, I would go to doTERRA, hands down cleanest. If I want to work with rock rose, or also called cistus, there's a suite actually from a company, Eden's Garden. Super clean, third-party testing. I've read all the third-party testing on it. And then when it comes to cold pressed oils, so I work with distilled oils and then there's cold pressed oils. And so there's other companies that I go to for the cold pressed oils, and I want small batch whenever I can, but that's not always possible. And I work with people all over the world. So we also have to get creative in them sourcing from where they are. So yes, it would be lovely if I could grow them all in my yard, but the conditions here aren't conducive to a lot of these plants' ideal climates, right? Like helichrysum is this beautiful little daisy looking flower that grows in a rocky area by the sea. And if I grew it here, it wouldn't even have the same chemical profile.
Yeah.
So yes, it sounds beautiful to have a garden and to grow your own medicines. And yes, to an extent, absolutely you can. But for skin care, when it comes to like surgical precision to get somebody on the right path, it's beautiful to be able to tap the whole planet for resources to see where is that compound in nature. And it's not necessarily in your backyard.
No, I love this. And I've also, it's similar with honey, where there's this idea you should have the local honey, but honey is only as good as the environment it's come from.
Mm.
And, you mentioned frankincense. Well, frankincense honey is incredible, but you can only get it from, a couple of regions on the earth. And the mountains in southern Oman and on the Yemeni border, where you have these ancient frankincense trees, the potency of the blossom that comes through in the honey is just unlike anything else. You can't, I can't grow a frankincense tree here. And I think this is why humanity should be connected and connecting, is for trade, is to share these wonderful things that we have that we can exchange. So, there could be people in Oman who would really benefit from dandelion, but they don't have the dandelions there. So we can swap, I'll have some of your frankincense, you have some of my dandelions. So it is just so amazing what nature can provide and how different people are using it. So when a client comes to you, how do you start? Do you do a consultation, or do you have a basic thing, almost like a cleanse that you do to start with? Give us a bit of information on what working with you would be like.
So it starts with a consultation, and I learn what your goals are, and then I ask you a list of health questions. Are you on medications? Are you photosensitive? Do you have allergies? I go through it all. There are a lot. There are about 700 contraindications that I need to quickly check for in as few questions as possible, because plant medicine is potent. It is potent, and you have to be careful. I mean, if you're breastfeeding, there are certain oils that could stop your milk flow. If you have seizures, you could trigger a seizure. So I have to be really careful about asking and finding out exactly the state that they're in. And then from there, I develop their first 30-day blend. And then we'll evolve the blend every 30 days until they have their forever fallback blend, but they'll know enough to be able to just play and discover and evolve their blend as they go. So I'm training wheels for 90 days, and then you're off and you're your own teacher and healer for the rest of your life, pretty much. And some people do come back in a few years and get a tune-up. And then we meet 5 times on Zoom, and I'm available. In addition to that, my clients text me or WhatsApp me and ask me questions, and we learn together and grow together. But we start with that botanical blend, and then we customize their face yoga routine. We customize their face massage routine. And then they just have their homework every day is exercising and massaging with the botanical oils. And then the meditation master class is a self-led class. So you would spend anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes a day meditating. And people do it. Some people go overboard and meditate for hours, and others, don't get around to it. It goes faster if you do all the 4 modalities together. It is best. And then I threw in a face masking masterclass in there as well, which teaches you how to turn all the natural foods in your kitchen into masking material for your face to feed your face that way, and how to convert lentils into skin nutrients, or whatever. There's cooked recipes, and then there's raw recipes on there as well.
Oh, I love this. So a real skin recipe book. So have you written a book? Are you writing a book? Because this needs to be shared, doesn't it? You've got so much incredible information.
That's, I would like to. Maybe I just need some structure around getting started. But yes, writing a book would be nice to have a catalog, a record, so that the knowledge is captured and that people can use it for themselves and teach their children.
Definitely. So you're based where in the United States? Just
outside of Atlanta in Georgia.
Ah, okay. So if somebody isn't close enough, how do they receive your oils? How far away do you work with people?
Oh, I have a client in Norway, France, all over, British Columbia, all over. I think the biggest time zone gap is 15 hours between two clients that I currently have. So I don't make the oils. I'm not the middleman. I
Ah,
teach you what to do, where to find what you need, how to heal yourself with it, and then you don't need me anymore.
oh,
Because
that's
I
amazing.
believe that is the true, for me, that is the true way to help people. If you don't need me anymore, I've done my job.
Oh, this is so the new way of working, I think. And, we can all see through this sort of profit hunting way of either healing or teaching. And yeah, you're teaching us to fish. You really are. This is so wonderful. So anybody who's been seeing my videos over the years, you might well see over the next few months that my laughter lines may be going, because looking at your skin and to know that you had the same lines that we've all been collecting, and that you now have the tightest face, the most beautiful pure skin, and you're in your 50s, it's just such a, you are embodying what you teach, which is wonderful. So how can people get hold of you? Where can they go to find you or connect with you?
So my website is skinlove.live, not .com, .live, skinlove.live. I thought that was fun. And I have a YouTube channel where I've maybe 150 meditations in all different styles and genres that I finally was monetized. Yay. So that means I blocked commercials. So it's commercial-free meditations. And then I also am on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there. And I just started Instagram. I'm trying to figure that platform out. I'm not super great on Instagram yet. And if you're local, I do host events. My close friend and I just did a sound bath with layering essential oils as scent anchors for the sound medicine on the sound bath journey. And we have a few more scheduled in the Atlanta area. And I'm teaching the face massage in the Atlanta area also. So you can go to the events page on my website and come see me in person if you're local.
Oh, that is wonderful. So as we come to a close, is there anything that you would really love to share or you think is really important that people can take away from this?
It is never too late. My oldest client was 86 and I was shocked. She had a deep crease that went away. The plant intelligence and working with the muscles, whenever you decide to fully engage with yourself, you'll find yourself. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how damaged. You can always return to self.
Oh, so that is such good news and so wonderful, because it is quite challenging as a woman when you get into middle age and you have to start accepting that we are looking older, and to know that we can have a bit more control over that, about what kind of face we want to share with the world. So it's a really great place to put your focus, other than tummy tightening or all these other projects that we're meant to have in middle age. So I think you're doing incredible work and really inspirational, and just to see you are embodying what you teach, which is wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And I'll have all of your links. If you want to get in touch with Laurel, I will put them all in the show notes. So thank you very much for listening, and let's all keep on creating a buzz about health.
You have to become yourself.
Join us next time on Creating a Buzz About Health podcast with Paula Carnell. Buzz you later.